Hello, hello. Welcome to a special episode of day one of a week long of celebration. Because, yes, you heard it. Building a Leadership Mindset podcast has hit 150 interviews. This is our third go round with bringing back our past 50 guests. Every time we hit 50 guests that we have highlighted, spotlighted, and shared on this platform, we bring them back, reintroduce them to our growing community, seeing where they're at, what they're doing, and just thanking them for supporting the BALM Global movement and what we're doing here at Building a Leadership Mindset. Super excited to be here with you all live. If you are watching this, definitely share it. Let me see. I don't know if I can get some live comments on here, but I will be checking our YouTube channel as well as our Facebook. So if you have any questions for our guests, definitely pop right in and drop them. We also will be sharing that if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, which is at Building a Leadership Mindset. Definitely do that. You definitely want to stay connected because these are some amazing individuals doing amazing things in their community, in the online space, all different industries, here to serve. And I'm super excited to be able to reintroduce them. Before we get into that, let me again send a shout out to our sponsors, Jose Escobar with the Connected Leaders Academy. We have Patrick Rude with the Dirty Little Secret Society, as well as Julian Noah with Breathe Financial Planning. If it wasn't for them, we would not be able to continue to just spread love, hope, and all the good stuff that we have here, tips and tricks, tools, real practical strategies that you can do here. So thank you so much for tuning in again, continuing supporting this community. Our first guest I would like to bring up from our past 50 episodes. Her story is a powerhouse story. We met through another community. We were on a Zoom call, and her light, her questions, everything just sparked up, and I knew I had to have a conversation with her. We took that conversation to the DMs, shared both of our missions, what we're doing, serving women all over, and being able to join forces. We joined each other's community, and we have been soaring ever since. And she shares a very special name, and that is Nikki Cruz, and she's tuning in from Texas. So let's get this lovely lady on. Hello, Nikki. How are you?
Hello. I am awesome as always, especially when I'm with you. And I don't know, can somebody let me know if they can see this on Facebook? Because I can't yet.
I can't either. So I am going to try here on my end, and then I will definitely share it. I'm still refreshing, but if you can't go on on Facebook, you could definitely go on YouTube. Not sure why, but we will see. Anyways, this is about you, Nikki. Tell us what you do, where you're from, and tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, thank you very much again, Nikki, for having me on here. And it was such a privilege to be on the first one, even more of a privilege to be here now, and to have been walking these last few months with you. My story is, hold on to your chairs, no pun intended. After 11 years in a wheelchair, I was miraculously healed and instantaneously healed, and got up and walked after I'd been told I would never walk again. But the most amazing thing about this whole story is that 3 months earlier, when they said, you will never walk again, I was so angry. And I realized that what I had done was just shifted my focus onto what the doctor said. I saw myself as crippled. I got mad at the people who saw me as disabled. Not that I wasn't. But in that moment, I had to decide to be the best version of myself in a wheelchair and walking. And God began to heal up my emotions, my spirit, my heart. And I shifted my focus onto what I could do. And in time, I was healed out of my wheelchair. I'm not saying that that shift in focus healed me out of my wheelchair, but it gave me so much joy when I began to recognize my true value. And as a result, I help women find their purpose and elevate in their purpose to just be the best version of their authentic selves and impact the world through that.
And when I first heard your story, Nikki, it was so powerful because sometimes we take not advantage, or we don't realize what we take for granted. Mobility, breath, able to walk, able to drive, able to do something, make a difference, to empower, to inspire. And we have the power to do all of that. And what I love about your story is that you were never bound to that. You had so much faith that maybe not at the moment, but you knew you would be healed. You knew that this was not the end for you. You didn't take that. How important was that? What type of mindset did you have to have in that process?
Well, as I said, for a while there, I threw my hands in the air, yelled at God, and said, I'm useless. But I had to shift my mindset to believe in the promises of God. And the promises of God had told me that I had a purpose. And that purpose can happen for you if your purpose feels like it's out of reach because of your circumstances. Who are you going to believe? Your broken mindset or the promises of God? Because He promises He has the best for you. And, you know, one of the things I always say is that you may not be strapped into a wheelchair, but what mindset are you strapped into that's holding you back? That's making you believe those lies that tell you you can't be the very best version of yourself. And hey, we all have days, we all have moments. But when you embrace who you truly are and see the joy in even the little things you can do, that joy becomes magnetic and contagious. And other people start to see that perhaps there's something there for them that they're missing, because they don't have to be bound by the labels of society, of qualifications, of, you know, the world's requirements, but they also don't have to be bound by their own opinions of themselves. Never self-disqualify.
So powerful. And I love that with every sentence, with every word, with every speech, it's always followed by joy. And it's so hard for people to really try to find that within themselves. They look for it externally, and you have to know how to get that for yourself before you can, you know, give that, right? So thank you so much. Stay right here. We're going to bring some more of our past guests on, and we are going to then talk about what are you all up to? What are you guys doing? And, you know, how are you still continuing to change the world? So our next guest is a father, a husband, just a man of total integrity and loyalty, and really finding ways to help families and fathers really step up their game and have that open communication, dialogue, and relationship where it's a bonding experience, just something out of the ordinary, and really keeping those families together and understanding. And I met him through the Connected Leaders Academy. We have had a couple chats. He's actually spoke on the Online Business Mindset Mania stage, and I'm so happy for him to be back. You guys definitely take, and if you haven't taken out your pencils and pens yet and paper, definitely take them out, because all of them are going to drop some major gems once we get to the Q&A part. So without further ado, let's get my friend Jeremy Roderick up. Hello, Jeremy. How are you?
Hello, Nikki and Nikki. I am doing fantastic. How about you, ladies?
We are well. We are well. So happy to have you.
Yeah, congratulations on 150 episodes. That's a fantastic milestone. And I love the entire week of celebration and guests and conversations. I think that's a really cool idea. And I kind of wish more podcasts would do that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, this is our third go round. It's the way that we here at BALM Global give back, and also to get you guys back so I can have a chat because we're also busy doing different things. And again, just reintroducing what we're all doing together to really shift. Tell us who you are, where you're tuning in from, and what do you do?
All right. So, hi, ladies and gentlemen. I am Jeremy Roadruck, the only one on the internet. I'm tuning in from Southern Florida. Luckily, got an opportunity to go swim with my daughter this afternoon before coming in here, and then going to go run a little bit later this afternoon because it's 85 degrees and gorgeous, and that's why we're frickin' here. And what I do is I help men and couples to really just live with more love, more presence, more playfulness, more passion. And the best way to do that is be an example first to show what's possible, right? So many people today are getting relationship advice, parenting advice from broken, wounded people that are going to try to protect you from their pain and their insecurities and their doubts by overcompensating. And like, look, life can be this amazing adventure if we just pretend we only get one shot and we're all worm food waiting to happen. We can kind of get that scary stuff out of the way and go, well, what time do I have? Let me enjoy it and let me add as much value as I can. And what if we raise our kids like that, where they can have an emotional center that's they know how to create their own emotional safety, they know how to assert and respect boundaries. The best way to teach them that, do that in our marriages, do that in our partnerships, do that in our intimate life, because then that becomes our kids' normal. And when someone tries to take them sideways, they just kind of look at them. um, Thanks, but I'm good. This is where I'm going. You're welcome to join me, but I'm not going to join you that way. Have a nice life. And we don't have to use fault, blame, guilt, shame. We don't have to punish for non-compliance. We can align vision, values, and just go play more. And that's really what I'm all about.
Awesome. And I just love what you're all about. And you had families that you've helped in various ways, right? You have a hack pack that you've put together. You have
Mhm.
uh, some other programs. Tell us a little bit about those and how important was it building it and really putting it out there?
Yeah, so I had some amazing parents that gave me a lot of love and support and belief. And I was a train wreck of a child at about 5 or 6 years old. I had some bad things happen that took me sideways. And they didn't find out about it till my mid 30s. And so I was that kid that is very intelligent, but nobody could seem to reach. Always had his back against the corner, always had a chip on his shoulder, always angry, really hard to just get him to play your reindeer games. And so as I did my own work and my own healing, really it comes down to the games we play. Are they worth winning or not? And what's the story, the BS, the belief system that's driving that game that's giving you those results? So if we want to change results, we could change game. You want to change game? Change story. And so I have a couple of different containers and ways I work with people. I do one-on-one coaching for men and couples. And I've got a couple of courses that if it doesn't make sense to go off the deep end with me and get results in 180 days or less, okay, cool. Well, I've got some courses on communication. You mentioned the hack pack. So here's how to get your husband, your kids to play your reindeer games for wives. And then for men, how to really find your center and where you stand and operate out of more confidence and more clarity. It really comes down to, in the world that I live in, there's three places that we need to grow and three relationships we have to master. Number one is the relationship to our past, right? And that's our childhood. That's the games we play. Are they even worth winning? Number two is our relationship to the present, and that is our health and vitality, as well as our intimate life, and our immediate peer level relationship, like our husband, our wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. And then the third relationship is the future, and the future is our legacy, and that is our children, and or it's our career, our business, because that's the thing we're going to leave when we shuffle off this mortal coil, is either these living people we've influenced, or it's going to be these clients and these people that we've added value to, and have we built something that's going to stand the test of time. And so when you can master those three relationships, you can walk with a level of just confidence and clarity and certainty that no one can take from you. And so I've got, Your Best Child Ever is This Game Worth Winning, the only parenting book with a money back guarantee. But I've also got courses, I've got trainings, I've got just all different sorts of experiences. And when the time comes, I'm excited to talk about what's next as well. But we'll get to that. So my whole thing is like suffering is optional, and we could just like unplug it. Pain's part of the deal, but suffering we create for ourselves. Nobody else can make you suffer but you. And it's in that BS, that story, you tell yourself about what's possible or what's impossible.
I love it. Nikki, what are your thoughts on what Jeremy has stated?
Well, I just love the way Jeremy brings stuff forward, and it is so practical. And you look at it and you think, well, how come I haven't been looking at it like that all along? And now I am not a parent in a biological sense, but you know what? Every relationship we have is a relationship that can be affected by these things. And just changing how you see things, changing the framework, and changing what you accept as the norm is so powerful. And I love how Jeremy brings that to us, to challenge that in us. You know, make what you want be the norm in your family, in your relationships, in anything else. And
Absolutely.
you know, we get to be that and do that. We get to choose.
Choice. Now, we can always make a choice, but are we going to follow through? Are we going to act? Are we going to take action? Are we going to make the moves? Are we going to sacrifice? Because with every shift and change requires something to be given up, whether it's your time, whether it's not being able to, attend a wedding, not being able to go on vacation with your family, or again, if you have the choice to create the framework and lifestyle that you want, then you get to have that choice. That's why I left corporate America. I didn't want anybody telling me when I can take a day off, when I can see my doctor if I'm sick, just things like that, that we, again, take for granted that we have the power. Thank you so much. We're going to get our next guest up here. I met her through the AMA, which is the Author Millionaire Academy, who is our publisher. My first publisher for Building a Leadership Mindset, Emilia Roman and Daniela Roman, who actually believed in me, asked me what was my story, and here we are to almost I think it's almost 2 years later, and we have been absolutely soaring. We haven't stopped. Just build, and it's not build like your empire, right? We're well on our way, but it's more about building relationships. And in this community, I met this beautiful soul at the actual launch of my first book, and then I joined forces with her and Dr. Maureen for my 6th anthology a year later, with the pain, turning pain into purpose. Patricia Juba is absolutely phenomenal, standing in her Life Worth Living organization, really taking her story, using it as her message, going live, hitting stages to make sure that she captures her audience and knows that they are not alone and they don't have to do this by themselves. So our good friends, and also, which I didn't mention, Nikki is also a member of Ladies of Leadership, as well as this lovely woman here, Patricia Juba. Welcome for joining us.
Thank you so much, Nikki. And congratulations on 150 episodes.
Yes, and counting. I think we have about 6 in the works towards 200. So I'm super excited about that. Thank you so much for gracing your story on our platform, which is a powerful one. And tell us a little bit about that, who you are, what you do, and a little bit about your story.
Okay. Well, I'm Patricia Juba. I'm the founder of a nonprofit organization called A Life Worth Living Corp, which serves women and families that are in their transition, either residing in shelters or programs. to help them and to support them to know that they are not, this is not their final destination. It's only a temporary pit. So I say it that way because I opened this nonprofit to reach back to other women because I went through being homeless. I went through addiction. I went through low self esteem. And because of my journey, I want to help other women to follow the processes that they need to go through to get to their destiny, to their purpose, so they can really acknowledge that this life is worth living. That is my whole message in a nutshell. I understand the emotional roller coasters, and I understand the shame that comes with all the various pits that I found myself in. I was gripped with fear for
Mm,
so many years, gripped with fear, didn't want to be seen, accepted anyone's opinion as if it was the gospel.
mm,
I know better. When you know better, you do better. So, from the addiction part of it, I went through a 12-step program. And we all know that 12 steps only get us to the second floor. There's more steps to climb to get to where you're going and to especially get to where God has you,
mhm.
where you're supposed to be. So, with that, after the 12-step program, I joined a church, started diving into the word for myself. And that's how I discovered myself. I discovered that I wasn't weird, I wasn't strange. There's a plan and a purpose for myself. And I did everything I can to find out what that purpose was. It led me to become an ordained minister, and from the love of the Lord, and to finally love myself for who I was and how He made me. I want every woman and man, but mostly women, to understand that they have a purpose and a plan. Let their pain catapult them to their purpose so they can go, like I did, from fear to freedom to flow.
Free to freedom to flow.
Yeah.
I love that framework. I love taking either acronyms or just those like 5 steps, all starting with the same letter, whatever creative
Mhm.
anchor you can create for yourself to live
Yes.
by. Those are the missing pieces that some of us have. We're trying to figure it all out, create,
Hmm.
instead of living by just one framework and
Yes.
building off of that. So I love that you did that. Does Nikki, you have a framework? Share your
Oh, I have a few, but I think the one you're referring to is, well, the two. The one is joy. Joy represents just own yours.
mm,
Don't give up your
Yeah.
joy by blaming other people. You get to choose what you're going to do, and
Mhm.
you get to take ownership of your life.
absolutely, absolutely. Well, before we continue, because we do have another guest in the green room, I just want to give a shout out to those that are online. Kim Marie, hello. Say it out loud with Gigi. Judith Diaz, she said, hello, ladies. We have Tony. We have Ivy. She said, hashtag live. Choice is one thing, the action is another. Absolutely. Thank you,
Mhm.
Christina, as well. She joined in. Reverend Rasheem Hall Stewart, thank you so much for tuning in. Continue. If you have any questions or comments in the chat, definitely drop those. I know people are having trouble seeing us on Facebook. I can see it, I can't share it, but that is okay. We will get you this information. So it has been amazing so far. Just again, reintroducing you. We're going to get our next guest up here. We actually just recently met. I believe we met through the online stage, just kind of touched base, and we connected. And I said, I have to get you on my podcast. Send her the link. We had our podcast and just everything that she's doing, just amazing in her realm. So we're gonna get Leslie Forenzo up here. Welcome, Leslie. How are you?
I'm fabulous, Nikki. Congratulations, 150 podcasts. That is such an achievement.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of work, and we actually started back in March. No, not March. We're in March now. We actually started September of 2022. Just again in community. It first started with just me blabbing about everything about mindset, because that's my love language and leadership. And I said, no, people need to hear other people. Like, we need to showcase that this is real. This, it all starts with the mindset. So thank you. Yes, we have been on a road to just showcase every level in every industry on why we should take a chance on us. So tell us who you are, what you do, and where you're from.
Sure. So I'm Leslie Fiorenzo. I'm from the greater Grand Rapids, Michigan area, and I help coaches and consultants, specifically people who struggle with self-promotion because they fear public speaking, getting on camera, or networking about their business.
Yes. And you're tuning in from?
I'm from the greater Grand Rapids, Michigan area.
Yes. And tell us some of the challenges in your space and kind of some of the problems that you solve.
Well, one of the things that I've helped people work on is the idea of I'm nervous, right? People say I'm nervous about public speaking. So let's change that from being nervous to being excited. So if we can reframe the situation, and most of the time it's about reframing the self-talk, because people tell themselves a story that isn't true, but we've got to challenge that story, because I believe it's their inner critic who's speaking up, and what they need to do is channel that inner critic into an inner champion. And that takes daily work, in my opinion, and mindset, I'm sure you know, Nikki, is daily work. And I love what I can't read the name on the screen, so I don't know who immediately preceded me, but I was hearing some of her talk about the 12 steps, and that you're never, like, 12 steps don't get you to the top. I thought that's brilliant. Yes, they don't. It's a continuous ongoing journey. It's not the destination. I don't know that we'll ever, quote unquote, arrive at our destination, because when you stop learning and you stop growing, well, I guess the alternative is you're not here with us anymore. At least that's my opinion.
Yes. I loved when she said it as well, that, once you fly those steps, right? Once you climb those steps, what's next?
Yes.
Right? What's that next level for me? We have to go another 12 steps. And you are correct. It's actually a lifelong journey when you're dealing with mindset and shifting. And remember, we get to change the narrative at a snap of a finger if we choose to. And sometimes we get so caught up in I said I'm going to do this, and if I don't do it, people are not going to stay connected to what I'm doing. They won't believe me. It's okay to at least test out the waters and figure out that that's just not for me, but you took action. There's always going to be a learning lesson, always going to be something to capture, to decide if you want to continue that path, or if you want to shift it, or are you missing a link to that process? So again, now that I have you all on, I just want to publicly thank you first and foremost, again, for bringing your stories here to Building a Leadership Mindset. It's an absolute honor and a privilege that I get to do this, that I get to wake up every day and meet phenomenal people in different communities. So I'm going to go around the virtual room and I'm just going to ask, how important is it for you, community? Give me about a minute of what your thoughts are on that. And we'll start with you, Patricia. We'll work backwards.
So reiterate that question to me, please.
So what are your thoughts about community, being in community and sharing these different messages and receiving them as well?
I think there is power in numbers. There's power in numbers. And when we work cohesively, supporting one another, it's powerful. It's better than trying to stand on an island by yourself. I love the community. I love what you've built. I love being a part of this. It's both it's an excitement for me as well as an opportunity to learn learn what other people do. I'm not here by myself in this world. We're all here together. And why not work collaboratively as opposed to being in a competition?
Yeah, I love that. And when this all started because in 2022, even before I met my publisher, all I asked God for was for a community. I said, give me a community that I can serve and can serve, that I can serve and can serve me back. When I tell you, be careful what you wish for, because he poured it. I just had to be ready to receive and nurture it and build it. And I'm blessed that I get to do it. And he sent a lot of great individuals that I can just add to a resource list and say, hey, at a drop of a dime, you need X, Y, and Z. I have X, Y, and Z for you. I love that I can build those bridges. And that's what we all do every single day. And that's how we grow. Thank you so much for your answer. Jeremy.
Yeah, so I can sum that up real simple from John C. Maxwell. One is too small a number for greatness. Anything anybody has ever built, yes, you had to do the work, but you did not invent, develop, cultivate, create every single frickin' step along the way. You leveraged the work of others. What's his face, law of motion physicist, he said, if I've seen farther than others, it's only because I stood on the shoulders of giants. We had community. And specific to the audiences I serve, lone wolves die of exposure. And you need to have a pack, you need to have a team around you. And for a lot of men, vulnerability is not a place of strength. And so instead, we need to be raw and real and open and honest. And we need to cultivate a community that lets us do that. A community that uses our wounds against us to build community and keep us in that limping is a dangerous place to be. So we need places and people that are going to amplify us. That's the magic.
Absolutely. Or create it yourself, right? If that's the mission, it's always something that we can do. How Lady Leadership was built as well was because I read a research paper when I was writing my book that only 8.8 women sit in the CEO position. And I'm like, well, what can I do differently? How can I change the narrative? And then you go down all these ways and you just create and take action, speak it into existence. You do it scared, you do it blind, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. But thank you so much. That was a well summed up way of how important community is and why you should, either create it or be part of it. Nikki, you're up.
Oh, I've just seen the power of community. Those 11 years I was in my wheelchair, I was completely isolated. It was very difficult for people to be around me. And it took me a while to get back into community. But boy, did I recognize the power of it. And to me, community is like when you have a stained glass window as opposed to a plain window. Because every person in that community adds their own color, their own tint, and it's all held together by the mutual love and respect. And different communities present different pictures because they have different people in them. When we try and be totally exclusive on our own, exclusivity brings about extinction. I'm a firm believer in that. But you know, we all get to have communities that are geared around one particular thing, but don't get stuck in that. Be in more than one community so that you can learn from others and you can give to others. Because if you just stay with people who are doing and being exactly like you, sorry, no offense, but then you've got a cult. so, so when you get to embrace and respect others' ideas, doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but you can respect them and understand where they're coming from. You build even stronger communities. And I love community. And my last speech I gave, I said, after all, community is your boat in the river of life.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Powerful, powerful. All truth in that, right? We are going to go to Leslie, and then we're going to take a quick break and just showcase of the community that we were able to create. Go ahead, Leslie.
Thanks, Nikki. I think Jeremy's right. Lone wolves do die. We need to surround ourselves with people who are supportive, people we know, like, and trust. But more often, what Patricia just said, it's that diversity in community. Now, I don't necessarily have to agree with you, but I can learn from your idea. And if I come at it from a place of curiosity,
Yes.
I'm often given, as I've been giving presentations, I will ask the audience, who really likes to be right? And most people like to be right, but that can really trip us up if we're not careful, because it will, we can't necessarily then see the views and opinions of other people. And I don't have to agree with your view or opinion, but you are entitled to have that view or opinion.
Yes.
So being respectful of that. But I think Jack Canfield says we're the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So choose your friends and associates wisely, and choose people who are encouraging, people who you can rely on to give you a pep talk, if you will. I said that to my coach the other day. I said, I think what I need is a pep talk. She said, no, this is what you need to do. And she gave me an assignment. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to get into action, don't I? Okay. So we need people that are willing to do that for us.
Yes, absolutely. And just, talking about the 5 people you surround yourself with, someone was at a virtual event that was a 2-day weekend, and they heard something and bring it to our community. And it was just so powerful. And I just have to repeat it right here live. I don't know who said it because I didn't get to watch the virtual event. So whoever said it, I know we're in community together. Thank you. Put a comment in the chat, said that was me. So I would love to know who you are and bring you here. Is the people you hang around with, is that a circle? Are they uplifting, supporting, getting you to take the next step? Or is it a cage? Are they holding you back? Are you not progressing? I didn't hear the talk, but this is what I can assume when I'm thinking about that.
Yeah.
So it's great that you said that we can bring that up here. And that's the whole point, right? When we go into these circles, to really start paying a little bit more attention and seeing, is this serving me? Am I going in the direction of my destiny, of what I'm trying to build, of what I'm trying to do? And are they going to walk alongside me during this journey, and then start making some decisions there? And yes, it's going to hurt. Yes, you're going to have to let a lot of people go, but you're going to gain a lot more as well. So never, once, they always say, when a door closes, another one opens. But when you are having to be put in that position where you're losing a friend or two, you're actually gaining another tribe, another community. It's happened. I know we've all, in the respective spaces that we're in, we've all felt that. So now it is time to talk about, what are you guys up to? What's going on? What's next? I give you about a minute or two to kind of share with us. How can we continue to support? So I'm going to go with you, Nikki. What do you have coming up?
Well, what don't I have coming up? I have just become a certified God Talks coach, and I have a number of God Talks workshops coming up when I get back from my TEDx talk in Zimbabwe. So I've had to put my upcoming membership on hold for a couple of weeks, and my God Talks workshops, because this was last minute. But before I get to take a breath and do that, I have a summit on the 30th of March. It's a virtual summit with amazing speakers, and the date was chosen because it's celebrating my 3rd anniversary of healing. But I have speakers like yourself, Nikki, who is actually one of our speakers, who are going to be sharing what God tells them to bring forward, but giving people steps and equipping them with ways to step into their more powerful purpose. So it's going to be an exciting event. I've piled a whole lot of bonuses in, but if you don't want all the bonuses and you don't want to pay $100 for a community you've never been in before, gee, what? I created a $20 link that doesn't have the bonuses. So that's coming up in just under 2 weeks, and we'd love to see you there. You can contact me under my name or Nikki. She'll drop you the link, because she's going to be one of the fabulous speakers, as are 2 other members of our community, and a 3rd member of our community's non-profit is going to be represented there. All people I found through Nikki's community, who are in Nikki's community.
Oh, thank you so much, Nikki. I just love what all of us are doing. I can't wait to continue to see this unfold, because to talk about it is not the same as actually witnessing it. To see the growth, to see the passion. And she's actually our last recipient that we had for our Make It Count award, because she has been on fire since we connected, which was an instant over the weekend decision. And when she first came onto our event, she on one of our calls, and she's like, just send me the link. And we had a great conversation, and we've been rolling ever since. Thank you so much. And where can people get a hold of you as well?
The easiest way to get hold of me is through Nikki Cruz on Facebook, or support@joy-inspired.com is my email address.
Thank you for that, Nikki. Jeremy, you are up. What's going on? What do you have in your arsenal?
So for me, I have been digging in on kind of, especially with my wife, like, where do you want your life to be? How do you want your days to go? And one of the things we really keyed in on is I have a 180-day transformation for men and for couples. 180 days or less, we're going to revitalize your marriage. So we're turning that into a kind of a self-study course at a much lower price point than one-on-one work with me. It's a slower burn, but at the same time, it's all actionable, testable tools that I've been using for decades to help cut through the crap for people and get to what they really want quickly and easily. And like, you've got your healing when it's no longer weaponized. You can talk about it in the positive about yourself, and you can use it for the future. When you're still stuck in negativity, when you're still caught up in fault, blame, guilt, shame, there's still healing that needs to be done. And so building the tools and strategies, and I'm taking what I do one-on-one in the bespoke process that's custom tailored, and we're baselining that out and making it a simple course for couples and men to follow through on their own, so that it's not appropriate necessarily for everyone to work with me one-on-one. Let's take a bazooka and go after a fly. You can just dial in on specific areas, and then we can also modularize it, and we have specific pieces that are available as well for individual stuff. Oh, I just want to improve my communication. I really want to know how to get through to my kids. Cool. And so that is in the works, and we'll be rolling that out here in the very near future.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And something just came into my mind as you were explaining, because these are practical tools that we think we should know, right? We've been told them plenty of times, and we still choose to ignore them. Having all the facts, have witnessed the growth, the level of others succeeding, and we're asking ourselves, why am I not there yet? What's holding me back? And it takes those tools that you're building to just reiterate and ask those questions, and maybe questions you never even thought about asking. So how can people get a hold of you?
Easiest thing is just hit me up on Facebook. That's where I'm the most active. I'm the only Jeremy Roderick on the internet, so I'm super easy to find. I'm not shy. And to your point about implementing tools and strategies, um, I have a family I'm working with on their communication, and they're just now getting traction. They had a young man who was listening to dad, but verbally abusive to mom, angry, disrespectful, all these really difficult things. And it's hard as parents not to take that personal.
Mhm.
So we're tweaking mom's approach a little bit, and they're finding leverage to get him to play their reindeer games. And as dad was describing what they're doing, I said, that's fantastic. Now we need 2 or 3 more of those types of things, because if you have one way into the diving board, right, one diving board into the pool, that's going to become a hammer. And pretty soon he's going to resist your leverage and it's not going to work. And dad's like, I didn't even think of that. And it's like the
Mm.
same thing in business. We need a Parthenon, multiple columns of support. Same thing in our physicality, same thing in our mental life, our emotional life, our spiritual life. Have multiple support columns. So if any one or two get challenged, you're not dead in the water. But if you only have a diving board and the diving board gets broken, oops. But most people, they get caught up in that single strategy, but it works really good. It's the best. Yeah, it's good, but there's 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, winter, and you can't use a diving board 24/7 unless you're in
Mm.
Florida like I am. But other than that, like everywhere else in the world, you gotta like adapt your strategies. So that's part of the power of having courses and having a network and being involved in community, is because those blind spots get caught faster. Coaches and mentors can point out, hey, you're doing great. Keep in mind, step 3, 4, 5, 87. Oh, fart knockers. I didn't think of that. So, that's really important as part of that framework around us and the community we're building for our own personal growth as well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I just love it because I'm realizing that we're all coaches on this call. Usually we have a bit of a difference, but, and I love that we can support each other. We can share, we can bounce ideas off each other. It's amazing that when you go into spaces like this and you're genuinely just learning about people, seeing other vantage points, other viewpoints, other just ways of like that blow your mind, and you're like, crap, I didn't think about that. How can I not think about that if I'm coaching? But we all have a different approach based on our experiences, what we've done, and what we know. So I just love all of this. Leslie, you are up, and then we'll go with Patricia.
You went the opposite direction, Nikki. So I've got a free workshop coming up mid-April, and then most of my work is one-on-one. But like Jeremy, I'm working on the creation of an online and program and book, so it can be a little bit less cost for folks who want to take advantage of it. So I think most everyone needs to, maybe don't want to, but most everyone needs to improve their communication and presentation skills, especially if they are in the workforce for an employer. They're often tapped on the shoulder to present, and sometimes people are reluctant to do that, and we want to put our best foot forward. So that's where I want to help. Thanks for asking.
Absolutely.
And people can find me on Facebook as well. That's probably, I don't know that I'm the only Leslie Fiorenzo on Facebook, but I think or get to me through Nikki, because we're connected.
Yes, absolutely. I definitely will connect, and I will be putting your handles on the YouTubes and all the other places once I go through this week of celebration, because we have so much stuff coming up for the rest of the week. And I just love that I get to do this. This is what I get to do. Just love on people and just support what they're doing. And again, just giving them the platform and being able to share the message, because it's important. Life is worth living, which we're going to go to our beautiful Patricia right there. It's definitely worth living and doing it in a way where we don't have to be shameful for what our past, like our past is our past. Sometimes we have to dig in it a little bit to kind of realize why our current state is acting the way it is, so that we can nip it in the bud. And you said, Leslie, the inner critic. I call that girl right here, I call her the inner hater, and I have to put her in her place quite a few times because we're human. It happens. There's things in our life that is going to try to nudge us. And I just want to thank you for stepping into your purpose and doing what you all are doing. And that's why I love to highlight it. Patricia, you are up. What are you working on and how can people get a hold of you?
Okay, I am presenting into a couple of shelters now. My workshop From Fear to Freedom to Flow, as well as speaking about how we speak to ourselves to help encourage. The other thing that I'm doing now, since I've wrote in Transforming Pain into Purpose, that anthology, and then from there it ignited my own book, A Life Worth Living, which is my personal journey. Now I'm working on an anthology called Through My Mother's Eyes, where it's going to be a testament and a celebration of mothers, motherhood. I'm going to speak about my mother and how she came through the depression as a child and the traumas into resilience that she came through. And I'm still looking for 8 authors to join me in this collaboration. And I think it's just powerful. It's divine. And I just can't wait until this manifests at our second annual gala in August.
Congratulations. Congratulations. So definitely if you're looking for any of what Nikki, Jeremy, Leslie, or Patricia has resonated and offered and shared, definitely connect with them, even just to say hello. To know them in their presence has made my life better. Just connecting with them and just, taking notes and really, and I know Leslie, we've only spoken a few times. I can't wait to continue and see how we can work together. Jeremy, you're awesome and amazing. Thank you again. Continue that light into families, couples, fathers, children's lives. It's absolutely beautiful that we get to have men like you that really take it to a deeper level and from the heart. And I love your authenticity on everything. And Nikki, you rock. We share the same name. I can't wait to speak on your virtual summit. It's called Jump. Tell us what that stands for real quick.
Joyfully unleashing a more powerful purpose.
It's all about purpose. Unleash that. You have it within you. And again, Patricia, you're awesome. You're amazing. We're actually doing an anthology collectively with the Ladies of Leadership, and it's called Taking Off the Shades. And it's all about relationships and providing tools to different levels of relationship, whether parenting, whether, being single, whether in a marriage, in a relationship, and really all the signs that we've seen and at what point in our lives that we have to decide, okay, let me take off the blinders, take off the shades and start making the change. And I can't wait. That will be launching this week. We've been kind of throwing teasers out there. So this is the first time I actually went a little bit deeper. We are absolutely blessed that this is a collective collaboration, and just keep shining. I'm going to just share a quick video and then we will sign off. While we're checking out this quick video, I want you all to think of one word that you want to leave our audience with. Okay? We'll be right back. Hello. Well, welcome back. That was just showing you how important it was for me after 1 year of entering into this space and taking a full 360 of my life and building community, because that is the biggest thing for me. So I hope you enjoyed us celebrating our past guests. Definitely want to go on our YouTube channel, check out their full story, and connect with them. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me, and I will gladly love to make that introduction for each of our guests. And we are going to see what's the one word we will leave you with. Well, we'll have 5 for you. So we'll start with you, Nikki.
Inspired. Be it, give it, live it, do it.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Appreciation.
Awesome. Patricia.
Intentional.
Awesome. Leslie.
Purpose.
Thank you. And I'll say consistency. All of those are recipes that you can add to shift your mindset in the right direction of building your leadership mindset. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. Catch us tomorrow, same time, same channel. Have a great day. And as I always say, make it count. Bye, everyone.